Thanks, Joe. The 2021 MLB wildcard games featured 4 historic teams facing off. The New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park, and the Los Angeles Dodgers and St. Louis Cardinals in LA. In the AL game, Nathan Eovaldi dotted his fastball and breaking balls all over the strike zone all game long and had the streaky Yankees swinging away. Add-on blasts from Xander Bogaerts and Kyle Schwarber, and the Sox never looked back. Despite the efforts of Aaron Judge, the Yankees bullpen, and of course Giancarlo Stanton, Boston cruised to the 6-2 win. Meanwhile, in the National League, the hottest team in the St. Louis Cardinals faced the 106-win, yes, the 106-win wildcard team Los Angeles Dodgers. With Max Scherzer and Adam Wainwright facing off, this marked just the second time in MLB history that both starters in a do-or-die playoff game were 37 or older. Scherzer and Wainwright each allowed just 1 earned run before the game became a battle of bullpens, and LA's Chris Taylor sent the Cards packing with a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th off All-Star Alex Reyes. The Dodgers moved on to the division series to face the division rival San Francisco Giants with the 3-1 win. With the Yankees and Cardinals being eliminated already, they need to reflect on their 2021 campaigns. For the Cardinals, their offseason boils down to 4 questions. How can they beef up their rotation behind Jack Flaherty and the 40-year-old Wainwright? How are they preparing for their first season without Yadier Molina coming up after next season? Can that bullpen be counted on to close out games without a shutdown arm? And is this hitting core as good as their second half showed, or did they just get hot and stay hot? The Yankees, meanwhile, were mediocre this season and lucked their way into October. Every game seemed to cause high blood pressure with so many 1-run or 2-run games. This lineup was all about walks, strikeouts, and home runs, and Judge and Stanton were the only ones hitting by the end of the year. The team's approach needs to shift to more contact hitting and more speed, or they will never keep pace in the American League. Aaron Boone and the Yankees coaching staff cost this team many winnable games this season, whether through outs on the bases or seemingly conceding games by bringing in the likes of Nick Nelson or Andrew Heaney. People need to lose their jobs for all of these lowlights. And lastly, Garrett Cole cannot beat the Red Sox at Fenway Park. He permanently stained his Yankees' legacy by letting his team down against their arch rival in a game they had to win. A long and hopefully eventful offseason awaits the Bronx Bombers. All these questions and more to be answered for these teams in the coming months, but not before the rest of the 2021 MLB postseason comes to a close and we crown a team 2021 world champions. We'll be sure to have a full MLB playoff recap coming your way here at Offsides a little later on this season. Until then, Monet and Smaran, back to you.
Absolutely. On top of hitting 2 home runs, one of which was a 3-run moonshot in Game 6 that literally left Minute Maid Park, it sent the Astros' chances of winning a title with it. I think between his ability to pick up at the leadoff spot and just overall, in the World Series, if it goes to a hitter, the guy who hits the biggest home run or gets the most clutch hits tends to win the award, and it absolutely has to be him.
Yeah,
It's no contest. It's Chris Bryant. Traded from the Cubs to the Giants midway through the season, not only did he demonstrate his versatility playing at 6 different positions throughout the year, but he hit .265 with an OPS in the mid-800s. He's demonstrated that he still has all the talent in the world, and at just 29 going on 30, you can get him for a long-term deal and still get a lot of productive years out of him. For me, it's Marcus Semien. Guy hit 45 home runs last year for the Toronto Blue Jays, the best offense in the league without question. He wants to move back to shortstop, and that's why I think he's going to leave Toronto. At his age of 31, he's slightly older, but I actually think that's to his advantage. He'll get a shorter-term, more budget-friendly deal, and with the way the shortstop market and the prices for them have exploded, Semien will benefit by getting more teams to call his name because of that shorter term that he's going to get. I think the cheapest option is going to be Trevor Story, formerly of the Colorado Rockies. He had the most down year out of any of these guys, and when your OPS barely cracks 800, playing half your games at Coors Field, especially when the whole league knows how good of a player Story was in past seasons, look, there's no question that he's an unbelievable fielder, base runner, and power hitter, but where he struggles is in a lot of strikeouts and especially in the consistency, and I just think with the year he had and the vibe he had on a bad end with his time with the Colorado Rockies, things are just not going to bode as well for him as the other guys. I think whoever says that is absolutely right. I think if this was 2018 when Baez finished top 3 in NL MVP voting, yeah, then you could make that case. But since then, it's become a tale of 2 different players. You look at Cubs Baez from the first half of 2021, where he was barely batting his weight, and the highlight was just a trick play running back towards home plate before running to first base and taking second against the Pirates. And then he hit almost 300 as a Met. And sure, he's got all the swagger in the world, and he's such a fun player to watch. But at the end of the day, you just don't know which Baez you're going to get. He's the least consistent, and I don't think you can put him up there in a class of shortstops where the other 4 are almost exclusively known for their consistency. It's easy. It's got to be Carlos Correa. Listen, Seager, Story, Semien, and Baez all have their pros and cons, but Correa is almost exclusively pros. He's arguably the best hitter. arguably the best power hitter, and I think that he's the best fielder, and his durability has become much less of a question as his career has gone on. Not to mention, he'll also only be 27 years old by the time next season rolls around. He'll be young, he'll be talented as hell, and listen, it's going to be a pretty high price tag to get talent like that, but you know what you're going to get for as many as 6 or 7 years of that contract. It'll be worth it. I'd give whatever he wants, however many Brinks trucks it takes to bring him the contract value he wants. Send it his way.
Look, last time we spoke was last Monday, right after, I believe this was right after the Yankees completed the sweep of the Boston Red Sox.
Correct.
And we were all discussing that there was 1 week left to go in the season. And we knew exactly who these three teams, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays, were going to face in this epic wild card showdown. Now, for all the anarchists out there, unfortunately, no, there will not be this cascading effect of 163rd games and then the wild card game, blah, blah, blah. It was decided firmly, Yankees at Red Sox, but I just want to think about this. The Yankees had probably the most brutal 6 games they could have asked for to close out the season against Toronto, who has the best lineup in baseball, and the Rays, who not only have the Yankees' number, but are also the best team in the American League. Meanwhile, the Red Sox had the Orioles and the Nationals, probably the easiest 6 games you could have asked for, and the Blue Jays were kind of in the middle. They had to play the Yankees, but once they got through the Yankees, they can beat down on the Orioles for 3 games. And the Yankees went 3-3 down the stretch against Toronto and Tampa Bay. I'm a little upset about it just because I know the Yankees needed to just pick off one of those 3 wins, 2 of which were really obtainable in order to be hosting this wild card game. Instead, they're on the road, but nevertheless, with the absolute roller coaster ride of a season that this team had, the fact that they finished the year with 92 wins and are in the playoffs, just wow.